What's up everyone, how's it going? So in today's video we are going back to my movie update concept series, and in this one we are doing Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. And there is a lot of stuff that I have on a list for things I would like to come from the movie in an update for Battlefront 2. These things include a new hero, new blasters for every class, a new map for Hero Showdown, and then new skins and some other things as well. So be sure and leave a like on the video if you do enjoy, and if you haven't already, be sure and check out my Phantom Menace one that I did a couple days ago. But with that out of the way, let's get right into it with the first thing that I have on my Attack of the Clones list, and this is going to be a new hero. This is a hero that people have been requesting for a long time now, and that is the iconic Mace Windu. Now, I personally would really like to see him come to the game. There's a lot of reasons why, but I think we all know the main reason is to see that purple lightsaber on the battlefront. And he's just a cool character overall and is played by Samuel L. Jackson, so who would not want to see that in a Star Wars game? I think there is a lot that they could do with him regarding abilities, animations, and emotes and all that. A couple emotes that I would love to see are ones like "This party's over" or him saying "You have lost" to Palpatine. I think those would be great, and they're iconic and they are ultimate prequel memes. So I think they could be a nice addition to the collection. And then one ability that I would love to see for him comes from the classic Battlefront 2 game in 2005. And that was actually his ground slam ability. So basically what would happen is he would jump really high up into the air, and by doing this you actually have to hit the jumping motion, so if it's A on your controller or whatever, and then you would activate the ability. And so basically you would jump into the air, hit the button, and then he would slam to the ground, dealing damage to a ton of enemies in a circle radius. And if they wanted, they could also add a star card that actually allows this to knock down enemies. I don't know if that would be too powerful or not, but I think it could be a nice star card addition. And then as for his lightsaber animations, it's really hard to tell. I know that he uses Form 7, so they would obviously base it on that. But from the movies and what I've seen in the shows and stuff, he kind of has a fighting style from a mix between how Anakin fights and then how Vader fights. So if they could do a blend of those two where it's really fast but really powerful as well, I think that would suit Mace Windu perfectly and really work out well for the game. But if you guys have any other suggestions for Mace Windu as a hero, be sure and let me know in the comments down below. What emotes would you like to see, or even ability concepts? I'm pretty curious as to what you guys say on this. But then next up on my Attack of the Clones concept update list, this is going to be a new map for Hero Showdown. Now, there is a specific reason why this is for this mode only, and that is because it's going to be the Geonosis Petronaki Arena that we do see in Episode 2. It's a pretty iconic place in my opinion, and would be really cool to see in this mode. Unfortunately, due to how open it is and how flat it is, and there's not much cover, it just would not work for other modes like Blast, Heroes vs. Villains, or any of the other smaller game modes, unfortunately. Unless DICE wanted to do something where there was a bunch of rocks and stuff that you could hide and take cover under. But for now, I think having this as a Hero Showdown mode would be pretty cool to see, because Hero Showdown, of course, is just 2v2 battles and would work pretty well. The only suggestion I would have for this would be to remove Boba Fett from the lineup of this, because I can only imagine seeing him fly up in the air and just camping on top of one of those totem poles that we do see on the map. That would get pretty annoying pretty fast, so I think if they had it to where he's not even available to select, I think that would work out really well for this mode. I'm not even sure if they're able to do that, but I still would like to see this place come to the game at some point, and I just think a Hero Showdown mode is the best bet for that. But then next up, I'm going to talk about blasters for this game. Now, with the recent update, to all our surprise, we actually got new weapons for the infantry classes. So I am going to keep that in mind with these movie update concept videos, because blasters are something that I love to see added to this game, and I hope they continue to support that. But the first blaster I have on this list is actually going to be the R34 Blaster for the officer class. This is the weapon that Jango Fett had in this movie, and it had a really cool sound to it. I'll play it right now. And then also looks really sleek as well, and if they wanted to, they could even make this a dual wielding blaster. I don't know if that would even work with all the other abilities and stuff, but it would be unique to see. But either way, I think it would be a really cool addition for the officer class, and it would basically work a lot like, I believe it's called the S2 or S5 blaster that we do see, where it's basically a really slow shooting gun, but it deals a lot of damage, so I think it could work similar to that one. And then next up on my list of weapons, this is going to be for the Specialist class, and this also comes from Attack of the Clones, and this is actually the one that Zam Wesell, the bounty hunter, uses at the beginning, and this is called the Castir 1284 sniper rifle. It looks really cool. It reminds me a lot of the circular rifle, but it's a bit more advanced with technology, and it also has a really cool looking scope on it. It's kind of like some thermal one or something like that, but it would be really cool to see that implemented to the game, and I just think a lot of people would love to see it. And then next up on my list of new weapons, this is kind of a weird one. I'm not even sure if this would even be possible or even work for that case, but this is actually going to be for the heavy class, and this is going to be the Geonosian Sonic Blaster that we see him use in the arena. I know it's kind of a goofy one as it doesn't really fit with how the infantries work, but I still think it would be a really unique weapon to add, and I'm sure DICE could figure out how to make it work for the heavy class. And it would just be something that we really haven't seen before in Battlefront 2. And then finally, for the Assault class, I couldn't really think of a new weapon, but I'm sure there's some out there, so be sure to let me know if you guys have any ideas. But for this one, I am just taking the simple DC-15A that we do see on the Clone Assault class, but basically just making it available as a new weapon that also has modifications and is available for all eras, so not just the clone troopers. This is something that I think that they are going to do in the future, because when you think about it, there are 4 blasters per era per class in the game that are basically not even used because they're just standard blasters without modifications and they all shoot the same. I'll probably make a video talking about this sometime, but they did make some comments regarding it. So I'm sure they will make these blasters available for all eras, as there's, I believe, 16 of them, and like I said, no one really uses them, but that's kind of a topic for another video. And then next up on my list for this update concept kind of ties into one of my older videos, or not really older, but one of my recent ones, which was called Instant Action Improvements, and basically in that, I said at one point that I would love to see Starfighters be playable in the offline instant action mode, and then the future co-op offline mode, which is actually been data mined in the files from the recent update. So I find that pretty cool that we will most likely be getting co-op mode for offline, which is something that a modder has actually been able to do. But yeah, I said that I would love to see Starfighters be added, so I think in this case it would be cool to see a new ship be added to the game, which would actually be the Geonosian Starfighter. This was one of my favorite ships to use in the classic Battlefront games. I remember playing on Geonosis Spire and always trying to go up into that room and then steal a Geonosian Starfighter. But what I really like about this is not only do they look really cool, but their blasters are actually like a purple color, so I think that would be pretty cool to see. But this ship would work a lot like the Interceptor class, where they're extremely fast and shoot really fast as well. I feel like that suits it the most. And then next up on my list, I have some new skins from Attack of the Clones that I would love to see be added. The first one is going to be for Obi Wan, and this is actually going to be his mentor appearance. And this, of course, is the one that we see throughout the movie and features his iconic mullet and a unique lightsaber hilt. I'll put the picture up right now. And I think this would be a fair 40,000 credits. I think that's a pretty reasonable price for it. And I have seen a lot of people request it and they would love to see it added. But a second version that I think could also work would be a hooded version of this with his robes on. That's another thing I've seen a lot of people ask for. So I think it could tie in with this update well. And then next up comes from the Chosen One himself, Anakin Skywalker. And there's actually 2 skins for this in a way, but this is basically going to be his Padawan appearance. So this is where he looks throughout episode 2 with his really short hair and that braid, except this skin has 2 versions as well. One would have his blue lightsaber hilt, and this is actually a unique hilt that was featured only in Attack of the Clones, so they would have to make a new model for that. And then the second one would actually be him wielding the green lightsaber that we do see him pick up whenever he is in the Geonosis arena and loses his lightsaber. And I actually believe the hilt for this is actually the same model that one of General Grievous's lightsaber hilts use. So that's less work for DICE to do, and I think a fair price for these skins each would be 40,000 credits. I don't think that's too out of the range, and I think a lot of people would be willing to pay that. And then finally on my list for this update concept is kind of a smaller thing, but something I did also talk about in my Instant Action Updates video. And this is that I would love to see the Galactic Assault version, which is called Trip a Hive, of Geonosis be available for Instant Action. I do really enjoy the Capital Supremacy version, but the one that we do see in Galactic Assault is just a lot more fun in my opinion, and just looks and feels a lot more like Geonosis. And so I think it'd be a wasted opportunity to leave this one out. And just like the other Geonosis map, the new Starfighter should be available on it as well. But that is my Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones movie update concept. I hope you guys did enjoy it. As always, be sure to let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on it were. Let me know some stuff like what would you like to see added to it, or even changed, or completely removed, or what heroes would you like to see, or even villains. Just go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. I'll be going through all of your comments. But again, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, be sure and leave a like on the video. And if you're new, subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one.